Be honest, innovation, can it slightly baffle you sometimes? Well, all will be explained because it's everywhere here at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. Innovation is the lifeblood of technological progress, and it's coursing through every one of these 8 vast halls. So are we in a bit of an innovation golden age? That's the question that Transform Talks put to Professor Manuel de Santos from the University of Alicante in Spain, and also to Paul Chung, a professor at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy in Singapore. So, innovation. Have we ever had it so good?
I think we are building a very good momentum for the future as well. As you know that many of the big companies still investing huge amount of money in their R&D programs. And then we are only at the beginning stage of this 4th industrial revolution. There's a lot of opportunities for the tech firms to go for much, much bigger innovations.
Equally optimistic?
Definitely yes. When I look at what is happening in this mobile, I get the conclusion that there are 2 reasons for that. The first one is that you used to live in a culture where the point was the novation. Novation is something new in Latin. Now we have moved simply to a culture of innovation. So introducing something new into the society. This is the first. And the second is that the history of mankind has been a history which has been evolving arithmetically always. But since 30 years ago, and we have seen it now, the change is exponential. And this changed dramatically the way human beings perceive in the future.
So how do we prioritise quality as well as quantity of innovation and ensure we're getting public as well as business value?
Well, my understanding is that time has arrived where we have to think on terms of quantity, because the boom of innovation will continue. We change exponentially and innovation will flow exponentially. So the question is not quantity anymore. The question is how much and until what extent this innovation benefits human beings. And this is a question of quality. And companies like Huawei should insist again and again, not in the numbers, but in how Huawei and the others are bringing added value to the society.
I think the market will decide whether it's quantity or quality. We're looking at a number of patents. It's still on the upward trend. There's still a lot more patents coming out in the market, but increasingly those patents are getting more and more accepted, very harder to be usable. I think this is a dangerous trend that you are going to some really fine aspect of innovation and losing the market support, then that is a big problem.
So how does a city, amidst all this competition, how does a city or region become a hub of innovation? What support does it need?
Well, I would think that first of all, you need to have the market, you need to have the ecosystem. In Singapore, for example, we have evolved from a very basically a secondary kind of a city into a first-rate innovation city. The government pumped a lot of money into it, and we work with all the multinational companies as well as homegrown companies to evolve a R&D culture, an innovation program. For example, Huawei has set up an R&D center in Singapore and doing very well. Every year they increase the R&D personnel by about 40%. So now we have about 400 over R&D, mostly PhDs, very high end. And every year, now we have about 80 patents being filed by Huawei R&D Center in Singapore alone. So Huawei is only one of the players in the larger R&D ecosystem. So you need a government support, you need a good supply of R&D personnel, and you need to have a larger ecosystem to support it.
So it's a conscious decision.
It is, and my experience and my perception is that you need 4 axes to be successful. The first one is the governmental action. You always need a clear governmental action, but it's not enough. The second one is enterprises. You need a hub of enterprises understanding that this is the very moment for this region or for this city. The third one is universities, both in terms of research and in terms of education. And the fourth one is forgotten. The fourth one is civil society. You need a critical mass of civil society because an innovation hub goes not only top down, but also bottom up. When you get all these, the four axes, then innovation flourishes.
So are we prioritising that enough? Are all four of those firing, all those pillars, are they all there and in place? And do we prioritise innovation sufficiently as a society?
I have the feeling that my answer is no. There are some places where it happens. Singapore is one of them. But today, either we do it globally or we will create all sorts of discrepancies and distinctions. So there is a lot to do there. We have to convince the politicians that they have to invest more all over the world in innovation. And basically there is a word that for me is magic in this regard, is the word education. Education and education. Here you have the three priorities to get the future of human beings shaping really the way.
So that fractured international order, that's got to stop. You need that unity of purpose.
It's hard to say, now given all this tense geopolitical relationship, each country may be forced to take on and be more aggressive into R&D activities for survival purposes. So it's hard to say. Remember the space race that Russia and US were competing, in the Cold War era. So I don't know, but to evolve an innovation culture, to move a successful program of innovation, an R&D program is not easy. You can have a strong government, you can pump in a lot of money, but at the end of the day, you need to have a good leadership, to have foresight and a lot of luck, R&D. You never know whether the idea you're trying out will win it or not. But looking at the pandemic, looking at COVID, through R&D, through innovation, the vaccine came out very quickly, saved a lot of lives. We are at a stage of technical competency that we are able to do a lot of good. But we just hope that the government and the ecosystem will allow these R&D activities to bear fruit to benefit the humankind.
A very good, positive way for Transform Talks to end. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.